Hello and welcome to the very first channel update vlog for Warped Gaming. I want to take just a couple minutes here to give an update on a couple of things that are coming down the road for the channel. And I also want to take a minute to thank all of you guys for the 100 plus subscribers, which I am very excited about. The channel has been active for just over 8 months, and so I'm very excited with the progress that has been made, and I'm looking forward to the future and the next 100. In order to help facilitate that, I've got a couple ideas rattling around inside of my head for project ideas, video ideas that are hopefully going to start coming out pretty quickly. First is I want to start to make videos for a series called Warhammer Rants, where I sit in front of the camera and complain about something that I'm not happy with in Warhammer 40k. I love the game, but there are some things that bother me, and I want to take a minute to address those things and see if you guys agree or disagree, and other ideas that you have on how to improve the things that I want to complain about. Secondly, for people new to Warhammer 40k, including some of my friends and family who want to know what's going on but have no idea how the game works, I am planning to begin to come out with a How to Play Warhammer 40k 8th Edition series. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, the first videos will start to roll out for that. The last thing coming down the road in terms of videos is I do have the basic plan for the next group already laid out. I'm just not quite sure which armies I'm going to be bringing. I'm pretty sure on 3 of them, but there's a 4th that is very much not ready to go. And so it will all depend on whether I can get it ready to go in time. So hopefully in 4 to 5 weeks or so, the pre-game for the next group should come out, which I'm looking forward to. I won't give any other spoilers about it though, other than there will be one army that has been in previous groups, and at least 2 of the armies will be new to the channel. New in that I've never played them before. Not necessarily that they're brand new, although 1 is pretty new. At least 2 will be new to the channel, and at least 1 will have been in previous groups. But that's all I'll say about that. So that's kind of the next 3 things coming down the line, and it will be Warhammer Rants first, for sure. That will be the next video coming out, and it will be in relation to the previous group. It's going to be a rant about Tzeentch in both the Chaos Demons Codex and the Thousand Suns Codex, because that bugged me so much in the previous group, ever since the first battle report of that group. The differences between the codexes in terms of the abilities and the strength of the units, but not in terms of the point costs. But I'll get more in depth about that in the Warhammer Rants video, so look forward to that, and that should hopefully be coming out within the next week or so. Then it will be the Learn How to Play Warhammer 40k, and I'm not sure exactly how many videos that will be, but obviously it will need to be enough to cover the entirety of a game. I'm not sure if I'll go into collecting an army and everything like that, because that's a little bit different. Really just want to get into how to play the game for people who have never played the game before. And so the rate at which those videos come out will be completely dependent on how easy they are to film, while getting all of the information out there. Because obviously, as a how to play video series, it needs to pretty much be perfect in terms of the content. I can't have any mistakes with the rules or how units interact. Everything will have to be spot on. But hopefully the first couple videos for that series should be coming out within the next couple weeks. And then down the road, after the first couple of videos from that has come out, it will be the pregame in the next group. So that's it for updates for what's coming down the road. But I do have a couple of questions for the audience, and I would greatly appreciate it if everyone could leave their comments down below on how they feel about this, especially if you're watching it within the next couple weeks after this video's come out. Obviously, if you're watching this a year from now, everything could potentially be different by then, but especially over the next couple weeks, I would love everyone's comments on this, because I have a couple questions that could determine how the next group is played out. First and foremost is, how do people feel about concessions from an army within a battle report? And what I mean by that is, would you, as a viewer, rather watch a game go all the way through the end of turn 5, or until an army's been tabled, even if one of the armies has no prayer of winning the game? Like, would you still rather watch the game go all the way to the end of turn 5 or turn 6, turn 7, depending on whether or not the dice suggest that the game should go longer? Would you rather watch the game go all the way, or would you rather see an army concede as soon as they don't have a chance to win the game so that we can move on to the next one? I played the entire last group under the later option of concede as soon as one of the armies looked like they didn't have a chance. But I want to know if people would rather see it go all the way to the end, because I can do that. I can film all the way to the end if that's what the majority of people would prefer to see. The second question that I have for people is about terrain. And this won't exactly affect the next group that's coming down the road, but it could affect things a couple groups down the road. And that is, I'm thinking of changing up the board that I play games on for a permanent board, a 6 foot by 4 foot board that is not interchangeable, in order to have the deployment lines built into the board, so that way I don't have to use dice, and also I can make sure that the deployment lines are exact, so that I don't have to worry about one army having an advantage because I wasn't able to properly create the deployment line. That's not an issue for Dawn of War, Hammer and Anvil, or most of the time the deployment map that has the 18-inch circle in the middle. But when it comes to Vanguard Strike, trying to get the deployment line to go down the center of the board, or 2 deployment lines, I should say, down the center of the board when the terrain is glued down, is very difficult, because you can't just put your ruler at the edge of the board and be like, okay, I know that at 16 inches of dice needs to go here, then 2 inches over it needs to go 17 inches up the board. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So generally, when creating Vanguard Strike, Frontline Assault, I have to place a dice at the edge and then kind of eyeball the dice in the middle. And obviously that is not very precise, and that could lead to an army getting an advantage in being a little bit too close to their opponent at the start of the game. And obviously, if both sides are more ranged based, it won't matter, but if one side is very close combat focused, that could play a big role. So I'm thinking of switching over eventually to a solid 6 foot by 4 foot board that I can build the deployments line into. The problem with that, though, is because the board can't be interchanged, if I glued terrain down, then it would be permanent. The board would be set up in one way for all battle reports in the future. And so my question is, how do you feel about terrain? Do you care about terrain? Do you not care about terrain? Does it matter if it's always in the exact same place as long as it looks good? What are your thoughts on that? Or would you rather the terrain be separate so that it can be moved around? Obviously, if the terrain can be moved around, that creates a little bit more setup. And of course, that creates the issue that terrain could be bumped and moved out of place. But what do you feel about that? Personally, I'm not really a big fan of terrain, so I would actually be happy playing with no terrain and just some hills built into the board or something like that, so that the landscape doesn't look completely flat. But for the most part, I can live without it. But I know that there are a lot of people that do like terrain and like to look at it. And it does make a more thematic board, but it's definitely harder to play with. So I'll leave that up to the audience. Please let me know in the comments down below. And the third and final thing that I want to ask the audience is, what armies do you want to see in future battle reports? Are there armies that I've played and you want to see again? Are there armies that I've played and you never want to see again? Are there armies that I have not played that you do or don't want to see? Obviously, when it comes to bringing in new armies, it becomes a little bit difficult to do that in a timely basis, because everything has to be assembled and painted, and I'm doing that all on my own. So that's why it takes so long to get models painted up and brought in. That's why the Necrons were playing with a bunch of silver models that actually weren't finished. Nurgle had some of that too. So what armies would you like to see in the future, in future battle reports? And I guess going along with that a little bit, but not really, fourth question, and this will be the final question, is how do you feel about the group format? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Does it add anything? Does it make you feel like there's more significance to each battle report if we are tallying up records at the end? Or would you rather see more one-off battle reports that don't have any relation to others, just that you can see something interesting happen or see more armies more often? Please let me know in the comments down below. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.